Good afternoon, Rich Nass with Open Systems Media, here with Ray Zinn for our weekly spot. Hello, Ray. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine, Rich. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so we're like 8 days out, I think. Is that what it is? About 8 days from the election?
More like 7, I think.
Okay, all right. 7 days out. I was at an event last week, a technical conference that brought in folks from all over the world. And in very casual conversations with people, it sort of comes up, the election, and everybody's talking about it. And to a man or to a woman, people are afraid of Trump. Nobody really thinks he's going to get elected, but there was genuine fear if he were to be the president of the United States. Is that justified? I mean, should people be afraid? And I think I'm talking on a bunch of different levels. One is the chaos that he would create in the world, but also like literal fear of having his finger on the button.
Yeah, well, of course, there are boogeymans in our lives, and we all have a boogeyman that bothers us, and we exaggerate. We actually exaggerate how things really are. We hope for the best, but expect the worst, as you would. So, in our nation, the United States, there's a balance of power. You got a judicial branch, and then you have the legislative branch, which is the Congress and the Senate. And in the case of Donald Trump, I like to start off this way. He's talking about at least who he is. He's run a company, and I don't think he's public. I think he's a private company, and he runs it autocratically, meaning he what he says goes, and he's used to doing that. He's used to giving out the commands and having them followed. So, in the case of, and I'm sure he knows this by now anyway, in the case of the political office of being the president, he has to then go through the legislative branch to get them to agree to you got executive, judicial, and legislative. So if we're talking about in the case of the executive branch, which would be Trump, then you would have the legislative, which would be the Congress, and the Senate will have to agree to whatever he wants to do. That's the balance of power. So I think there's a little undue fear that he will be able to do everything he says. And I don't know that he truly believes that he can do all the things he says he can do, given the fact that he has to get it approved. And so I think that fear is probably not totally warranted.
Well, what about the idea of him having the codes, to these nuclear weapons, and him, being very blunt about, if somebody, is to shoot down one of our planes, we're going to go bomb that country?
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be an atomic weapon or nuclear weapon. So, and that's true even today. I mean, when they attacked, our ships, we retaliated, and that's just a matter of record. So, and we did bomb them pretty hard when they attacked our ships. So, we don't sit idly by and just let people attack us. Would he go on the offensive? I don't know. It depends upon the situation, but certainly you can bomb or you can retaliate without having to use a nuclear weapon. So I think that fear is just pure nonsense. So now, on the other hand, people resist change, and Clinton, I keep saying that, Trump has to show change. In other words, that's how he gets his voting base, is to say, I'm going to change things. I'm not going to leave things as they are. And so if the change is unknown, that really has many people afraid, because they're used to things a certain way. And he will, I don't think anyway, he will just do nothing. He will try to change things up, whether it be build a wall, whether it be increase tariffs, changing trade agreements. He's going to try that. He's going to do all those things that he said he was going to do. I'm sure he's going to make an attempt at it. So, and those changes have some ramifications to those other countries. And he says, I want to bring jobs back. And if he doesn't bring jobs back, he's not going to get reelected, presuming he is elected. So this is the view of I think these foreign countries is that, hey, they've got a pretty nice thing going in the United States, and they don't want to see that upset. So they have concerns, and then they should be concerned because unlike Clinton, who will pretty much just mirror what Obama's been doing, Trump is going to try different things, and those things are not going to be good necessarily for certain countries.
Now, I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but do you think that some of these things that he is proposing, if he does not get elected, do you think Clinton will just say, those are some crazy ideas of Trump's, we're not even going to consider them? Or will this actually have an effect on how the country's run, whether he gets elected or not?
That's conjecture. I don't think that if Hillary Clinton gets elected, that she is going to promote those ideas of Trump. It's not to say she wouldn't, but it just doesn't seem that she would. She's pretty much agreed, or at least stated publicly, that she's going to carry on pretty much what Obama's got going, and then of course stay the course as you would, and so that's kind of my view if Hillary Clinton gets elected. Whereas if Trump gets elected, whether or not he can pull it off is another story. But I do think he's going to try to shake some things up. I don't think he's just going to sit idly by and just say, I was just kidding when I said I was going to build a wall or when I was going to, tear up the trade agreements and so forth. I don't believe he was kidding. I think he means it. Whether or not he will be able to totally do that, he's going to have to get a lot of people to go along with it. I served on the school board for many years, and it was very difficult to get anything done. It's an elected office, and I thought I could change the world if I got on the board and could help out the schools. But I found out that there's a lot of other people had different ideas, and it was difficult to get anything done. And I think Obama's finding that out. He's been in there 8 years, and I don't think he's gotten much done.
Yep, I agree, and I don't want to go too far down the political path, but I will say that serving on a school board is one of the most thankless jobs that a person can do, at least in my community. A lot of work, and you just get a lot of flack for it.
I know, and you're never right. I would tell you, if you don't have the citizens upset with you, you got the teachers upset with you. So, because you can't appease them both. I mean, what the citizens want, the parents want, and what the teachers want are not the same.
Yep.
You think they would be, but they're not. So, you're walking a kind of a tightrope there.
Very good. All right. Well, we will have a even more interesting discussion after this election's over, and we can get on the phone and we can talk about how smart we were or how little we knew.
That's exactly right. Whatever you do, get out and vote.
Yep, absolutely. That's the most important thing. Well, thanks, Ray, and I will talk to you next week. That was Ray Zinn. He is the former CEO of Micrel. He's a podcaster. He's an author, and he started the Zinn, what was it called, Ray?
Zinn Start.
Where you're offering money to the university to start projects?
Correct.
Right. Okay. And I will speak to you next week. Thank you much.
Thanks, Rich.